And now for our next news special report.
And now a report that will shake the very foundations of our republic. We've just uncovered a bombshell in the ongoing saga involving former President Donald Trump. Jim Jordan, a name synonymous with justice and integrity, has launched a crucial inquiry into the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Why? For her alleged collusion with the notorious January 6th Select Committee. This isn't just another political drama, it's a revelation that could rewrite the narrative of one of the most controversial legal battles in recent history. We have on our hands 2 explosive letters that lay bare the extent of this alleged collusion. And if that's not enough, wait until you hear a flashback clip of Speaker Gingrich shedding light on a rumor that now seems eerily prophetic. This story isn't just about politics, it's about the very principles of justice and fairness in our republic. So we're diving into a story that's more than just a headline, it's a pivotal moment in our nation's history. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, renowned for his unwavering commitment to truth and justice, has initiated an inquiry that might just change everything we know about the legal onslaught against former President Donald Trump. Jordan's investigation targets Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, specifically her coordination with the January 6th Select Committee. This isn't just a cursory glance, it's a deep dive into the murky waters of political machinations. The question at the heart of this inquiry is whether there was a deliberate attempt to use the legal system as a weapon against a political opponent. Now, reflecting on a revealing flashback, we revisit Charlie Kirk's interview with Speaker Gingrich from 3 months ago. Watch.
That I am told, this is hearsay, but I am told by a reliable source that Friday evening somebody from Washington called the district attorney in Atlanta and said, "You have to indict on Monday. We have to cover up all of the mistakes we just made with Weiss." And she said, apparently, my jurors aren't coming back till Tuesday. And they said, "You didn't hear me. You have to indict on Monday." And she said, "Well, they're not going to get here before noon." They said, "It doesn't matter." She said, this means it's going to be 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night." They said, "It doesn't matter. We need the news media shifting."
Who made that phone call?
We don't know. And I'm telling you up front, this is hearsay, but it's from a person who has remarkably good sources.
I totally believe it, though, because that would explain why they leaked and they messed up on the clerk document, why she was exhausted, and why they had the 11 p.m. press conference, Mr. Speaker.
Gingrich shared a concerning rumor. D.C. had allegedly coordinated directly with Willis's office, pressuring her to indict Trump. The urgency in this demand raises eyebrows. Was this a strategic move to overshadow other political missteps? Now let's turn to the letters that have stirred the pot in this brewing storm. The first, penned by Jordan himself, lays bare the concerns surrounding the politically motivated prosecutions and the apparent coordination between Willis' office and the January 6th committee. This isn't just a simple accusation. It's a very challenge to the very integrity of our legal system. The letter questions the due process and fairness of the investigation, suggesting that they might be tainted by political bias. Jordan's letter is a masterclass in holding power to account. He points out the troubling track record of procedural abuses and due process violations by the J6 committee. This isn't just a critique, it's a scathing indictment of a process that seems to have lost sight of impartial justice. And Jordan accuses the committee of cherry-picking information to create misleading narratives and ignoring evidence that contradicts their agenda. As we unpack this, let's not forget the second letter from Subcommittee Chairman Barry Loudermilk. Loudermilk's correspondence highlights a December 17, 2021 letter from Willis to Representative Benny Thompson. This isn't just a request for information, it's a key piece of evidence in understanding the depth of the coordination between Willis' office and the J6 committee. Now, in his letter, Loudermilk underscores the gravity of the situation. He reveals that the Select Committee shared critical records with Fulton County prosecutors. These weren't just any records. They were pivotal in shaping the narrative about Trump's actions and his advisors' knowledge regarding Georgia's 2020 election results. Now, let's put this into perspective. The J6 scope, the committee's scope, was vast, extending beyond the events of January 6th. It delved into actions leading up to the events of that day, exploring attempts to overturn the 2020 election results, the dissemination of misinformation about election fraud, and the involvement of various individuals and groups. But here's where it gets contentious. The committee's work has been heavily criticized by many Republicans as politically charged. The debate over its composition and findings has been a point of contention, with accusations of bias and partisanship. The new inquiry by Jordan and his team adds another layer to this ongoing scrutiny, raising questions about the impartiality of the investigations led by Willis's office. It's crucial to understand the potential implications of this inquiry. If Jordan's suspicions are confirmed, it would suggest a disturbing trend of using legal mechanisms as tools for political warfare. This goes beyond partisan politics. It strikes at the very core of our judicial system's integrity. The House Judiciary Committee isn't just asking questions, they are demanding answers. They've requested a comprehensive list of communications and documents exchanged between Willis' office and the J6 committee. This isn't a mere formality, it's a quest for transparency and accountability. They also seek an itemized list of records provided to Willis's office, a step towards unraveling the extent of the alleged collusion. In the midst of this, let's not forget the human element. The individuals involved in these proceedings, they're not just names on a page, they're people whose lives and careers are being profoundly affected by these investigations. The potential influence of partisan politics on these cases is not just a matter of legal procedure. It is a matter that touches the very essence of justice and fairness. As we continue to follow this story, we must ask ourselves, what does this mean for the future of our republic? If the allegations of collusion and politically motivated prosecutions are true, it signals a troubling shift in how justice is administered. It's a wake-up call for all who believe in the principles of fairness and impartiality in our legal system. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe and join us in this pursuit of truth. As we conclude tonight's report, let's not mince words. The actions of Fani Willis in her collusion with the J6 committee represent a stark betrayal of justice. This isn't just about one case, it's about the integrity of our legal system and the principles our republic stands upon. Jim Jordan and Barry Loudermilk have shown commendable courage in exposing this scandalous collusion. Their relentless pursuit of truth is a testament to their dedication to justice and the American way. We must now turn our thoughts and prayers towards Donald Trump, a man caught in the crosshairs of this political vendetta. It's crucial that justice is served, not just for him, but for every American. This case transcends political lines. It's about the sanctity of our elections and the rule of law. Let's stand united in demanding accountability for Fani Willis and her cohorts. Their actions are an affront to our republic, and they must answer for their crimes. As we seek justice, let's remember the core values that make our nation great.
Good morning, everyone. If I can get a sound check, that would be super duper. I haven't been able to get one yet all morning long, and the delay seems to be a little higher on the Rumble side than normal. Just a 5x5. Type one in the chat. Somebody type something someplace so I know that my sound is working. Jordan says, "You good?" Dog and Ball says, "Good morning. Not late today." All right, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Looks like Alrighty Then was first on the Rumble side, followed by Catitude number 2 and Mr. Leroy. How you doing, guys? West Virginia Pappy is over there on the Rumble side, and Jordan may be omnipresent. I'm not exactly sure. What do we got here? Old Bob Clancy was first on Twitch, which is unheard of. JB the 25th, number 2. We got Tina Price. We got Bradley Collins, Mr. Allen. He seems to be omnipresent. Beecher, West Virginia Pappy, omnipresent. Bob Pita, Dog and Ball Productions. And let's see, Tina Price. Sounds good to me. Perfect. Looks like we got all of our bets covered. I tried to actually do the whole commenting thing in Twitter/X over onto this new thingamabob here. Actually, you guys aren't actually seeing this. I mean, I don't understand why, because I didn't push that. Boom. Yeah, that's all the new stuff is going to pop into there. What really new stuff? Let's see if that works. See if that, there we go. Okay, so I apologize. I like to give you guys like your own little area to put stuff in. So that's where your stuff will pop up when you decide to type there. Okay. So as the thumbnail suggested, this video is about, or this live stream is mostly about gun control, not completely, but some of it, well, let's just say we're going to talk about the bad. We're going to talk about the good. Obviously, today is Bad News Friday. So, man, do I look grainy over there? It looks like I look grainy on the Rumble side. I don't know what I look like on the oh my God, the delay on the YouTube side is unbelievable. Wow. Let me double check this to make sure that I'm not, I got all the bells and whistles turned on so that, wow, it's coming out super grainy. So hopefully that will solve itself. I'm not exactly sure why. If I look grainy on you guys' side, do me a favor. Let me know in the chat. I'm really interested in knowing whether it's you guys or if it's just me, because on my software I look crystal clear, but on the output side in both Rumble and YouTube, I look grainy, and I don't understand why it's happening, because even in the control panel of YouTube, it's crystal clear. So I'm confused. Let me know in the chat how I look, guys. If I'm grainy, if I'm clear, whatever it may be, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and get into this. I'm going to need to hard to tell on the small screen. Got you, Bob. Appreciate it. This thing was freaking out, so I have to do this manually real quick. We're going to go screen share, and yeah, we're going to do that one. So you guys can't make this stuff up. This came out yesterday. Just watch. Be patient. Just watch and see how phony these people are. And if you know anything about the BBC, they are the absolute 100% worst, okay? How phony these people are. Watch this.
Live from London, this is BBC News. Britain's former Prime Minister Boris Johnson apologises for the pain and loss suffered in the UK during the coronavirus pandemic. Live from London, this is BBC News.
Did you guys catch that? Was that super awesome? Was that just the best thing? Was that the greatest representation of let me see what this does in this screen right here. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Wasn't that just the greatest representation of our our news, our media? But hopefully you guys were watching that, because I'm not going to show it a second time. That's for sure. Okay, so in the stupid news, let's see. That one should pop in there just like that. If you guys didn't catch on to this, yesterday the House voted to censure Representative Jamal Bowman. I used to be the principal of a school, but I don't know what a fire alarm looks like. I don't know. It was so confusing. The buttons, I panicked. I don't know. So many excuses. So they basically censured him yesterday. If you guys don't know what that is, that means that he's still in the House of Representatives, but he is stripped of all other titles and positions. He can't be the member of a hearing or a board or anything like that. He can just be that guy up there running his suck and representing his people and voting, which is what he's supposed to be doing in the first place. It's his only job. It's his number one job is to represent the people. It's to represent the people. Oh my God, did that finally come through? That's weird. Hold on a second, guys. I don't understand how that happened, but it is very, very in here. Let's see here. Yeah, I just figured I'd let you guys know about that in case you hadn't known about that. And so, yeah, that guy has got his trash pushed in, basically. Okay, so we're going to jump on to the rest of the crazy news. We're going to share this tab for you real quick. Make sure that went over. It did. Nice. Things are working. Things are working. I like it. I cannot believe the delay that YouTube is on right now. There's no way that is the delay. There's just no way that is the delay. Hold on a second, guys, because I'm watching my it's called a dashboard. Okay, we're good. We're good. So the dashboard is like super slow. Okay, what do we got? Miss Melody showed up. Good morning. Good morning. Anyway, so shots fired in front of for a synagogue in New York. Yeah, this came out last night. I don't really have any more information on it, but basically it was a drive-by. They pumped a couple of rounds and they yelled, "Free Palestine!" I don't really have any more information on it, but these things are becoming more prevalent as we go by. So be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share this tab, and then we're going to close that out. We're going to get into this. So the shooting, guys, it's all, this is what happens every single time somebody pulls trigger and the theme aligns with their agenda. They start screaming for gun control. And this is a great reason to bring back this old bill that wouldn't pass and didn't pass and couldn't pass. And they start doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But the problem is in this particular case, it didn't fit their agenda properly. It wasn't what they were looking for. So going through this very quickly, going through this for you. Let's see here. YouTube is like 10 to 15 seconds behind. YouTube is not that bad. Hicktown, honey, good to see you. The actual preview that I see, yeah, I'll be nice here. Let's live stream. And this is what I'm seeing, guys. This is what I see on my side. And this happened like 7 minutes ago. So, but I know it's not accurate. I don't care. It's not a big deal. All right, let's go ahead and get back to this one right here. So UNLV gunman was a career professor whose online profile focused on Vegas and conspiracy theories. This is all from our friends over at CNN. And because you know that they're the best. They always are. You know what? I'm going to make this so you guys can see it a little bit better. Hopefully it doesn't mess this up. Let's see what that. There we go. Now you can see a little bit more stuff. So there's a lot of facts to this case that do not align with their agenda, and that's what we're going to focus on for right now. The gunman who killed 3 people Wednesday at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, was a 67-year-old career college professor whose online profile paints a picture of a man fascinated by Vegas, puzzles, and conspiracy theories. Let's see. Well, it wasn't just some crazy 21-year-old pissed off at their science teacher or mad because they didn't get into the cool club clique. And so basically we got an old guy that has a psychological disorder that no one wants to talk about. Okay, let's lock in those facts. The gunman, identified as Anthony Polito by law enforcement sources, died after a confrontation with police outside a university building. Las Vegas Metro Sheriff Kevin McHale said. This is the dude right here. This is our winner chicken dinner who killed some people because he was mad. Clark County Office of the Coroner Medical Examiner identified 2 of the victims as I'm not even going to say their name. 64 Nevada and looks like a female. They were an assistant professor at Las Vegas. The manner of death of both is classified as homicide. The 3rd victim has been identified, and the office is working to identify the next of kin. Investigators are looking at the possibility Palito may have been passed over for a job at UNLV. The first law enforcement source said. The investigative theory on a possible motive is Palito had sought a position there but was not hired, the source said. Palito had worked for schools in Georgia and North Carolina. His now removed LinkedIn page showed his most recent full-time employment was as a business professor at East Carolina University in Greenville until 2017. His personal website included syllabuses for his past courses, but was largely a list of resources with hundreds of links to sites related to his personal interests. While that included ordinary topics like travel and shopping, one section was devoted to powerful organizations bent on global domination. Isn't that special? So this guy's really out there. He's definitely out there. And of course, guys, I highlight the good stuff for you. Let me wet the vocal cords real quick so I can say this with lots of voice inflection. It includes links to common conspiracy theory fodder like Freemasonry, the Trilateral Commission, and the Rothschild family. George Soros, a common target for anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, is listed as one of the great minds of the 20th century, alongside Albert Einstein and others. Now, here's where it all falls apart, guys. Here's where it all falls apart. He legally purchased the weapon used in the shooting, identified as a Taurus PT-92. By the way, that's a pistol for my military-minded friends from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. That would be the civilian version of the M9 Beretta, basically, but it's made by Taurus. Is just to give you a good visual. All right, he purchased the pistol in Las Vegas about 18 months ago, a law enforcement source told CNN. So basically, old guy, mental disorder, legally bought a pistol, upset because, I don't know, we've got too many unstable people in academia pretending that they're gods, I think is the biggest problem here. So the shooting began shortly before noon on the 4th floor of the university's Beam Hall Business School building, where students and professors were preparing for the next week's final exams. If you guys think that this was just some guy with an old mental disorder that has been allowed to do and say whatever he wanted to say for so long that he kind of forgot one day that what he says isn't important, type 1 in the comments, please. Let's see here. Shooting began. Students and professors were preparing for the next week's final exams, the sheriff said. Outside, students were gathering for an event with games, food, and Lego building activity. You can't make this crap up. The shooter moved through multiple floors before having an armed confrontation with law enforcement outside, which stopped the suspect, the sheriff said. It is unclear how the gunman died. I'm going to go with lead poisoning. I'm going with lead poisoning. And these were the law enforcement was actually the Las Vegas. I can't even say it right. I can't even bring myself to say it. They're not rent-a-cops, clearly. They're obviously certified law enforcement officers, but they work for a police department that is the school itself. So in addition to 3 people killed by the shooter, one person was critically injured by gunfire, but that person's condition later stabilized at a hospital. McKill said 4 others were also taken to hospital due to symptoms of panic attacks. I mean, if you live in your false little world and somebody shows up with a boom boom, I can see why you might be panicking. The world is crumbling around you. You don't know what to do. This is not supposed to happen. I'm in my safe space where everything I say is the truth. I couldn't be wrong. Oh my God. Let's see if there's anything else in this article that is actually where. And then they go on to start talking about gun. I have this. How school shootings so far this year compared to the same point in past years. So they're trying to make this huge. They're trying to make this biggest thing, okay? So it made me wonder, like, okay, what is a school? What's a school shooting? I'm very interested in knowing what a school shooting is. And there's actually an article in EDW, which is an educator's. It's where they go for their information. Defining a school shooting. There is no single official definition of a school shooting. They actually want to make a law that defines what a school shooting is, which could actually be a good thing as long as they wrote it logically so that it's just because somebody farted and they happen to be holding a pistol and you were within 50 feet of school property that it becomes a school shooting. You know, they write these laws that are just ridiculous. So Federal agencies, media outlets, and advocacy organizations that track gun violence on school campuses all use varying criteria. Some only include incidents during official school hours, while others count shootings at any time or those that occur during extracurricular activities. Data collections also vary in whether they include suicides, non-injury incidents, and incidents of school grounds that don't involve students or staff. So if we go back to that chart, which I'm not going to waste my time pushing that button, we have to have a clear understanding that there's no definition for this. And every time they say they have a poll, a stat, a statistic, none of it makes any sense because none of it's true. This is probably right up there with the gun violence numbers, where it's 30,000 people die every year from guns, and guns are bad, and then you find out that like 80% of that are suicides. Another 10% of that is there are people that accidentally shot themselves in the foot. It's the statistics are all bunk. They're absolutely all bunk. They make no sense because they're just not. They're not truthful. They're not truthful. So let's go ahead and check the chat out real quick. Looks like, sounds like the Biden Daily. True Speak Dad, good to see you, bro. Let's see here. Where we got here? We're talking about that. Looks a little weird. Yeah, that is a bandwidth issue, guys. I don't know why it's doing it, but at least it's not freezing. I'll give it that. Let's see here. Sounded super sincere. Firearms are like light switches. Exactly. Moving the speed of science. Okay. Who's I'm here? Truth Speak Dad. There we go. So Grumpy popped in. Grumpy, good to see you, bro. I like how the admin renewed calls for an assault rifle ban after this guy used a pistol. Proves the issue isn't safety. It's about disarming the populace. Absolutely, 100%. And that's the bad news. The good news is that there's actually a way of slowing these things down. And the left has finally realized that this is a losing battle. Said maybe like a Beretta, but trash, in my opinion. They are very unreliable. Well, I don't know anything about the PT-92, but, I've owned several Tauruses, and Taurus does make a halfway decent firearm. It's like art, bro. It's like art. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Good point, Grumpy. There you go. Let's see here. Okay, so I think we're up to speed on that chat. Let's check the other one. Let's see. He's good at connecting the dots. Okay. How could he not be a good conspiracy theorist? Oh, excuse me. Somebody was commenting on the cough still being here, and I just told them that it took me 3 months to get rid of the last cough. Aren't school shootings when students show up, shoot up the school? Jordan, one would logically think that. That one would logically think that a school shooting could also be when a parent showed up and shot up the school, or when a student shot up and shot up a school, or when someone showed up and shot up the school. That would be the clearest, most common sense definition of a school shooting. So all I'm saying is that the statistics are all skewed. Every one of them are skewed. There's no way around it. That's the God's honest truth, because there's no true definition. And here's the thing too. The left doesn't dare write a definition past Wikipedia, because they would instantly be destroyed by the right. So, all right, let's see here. I'm going to show you this one because I think it's important that you know about this. I'm going to make the screen bigger. And we're going to go, I need to I pushed that button way too soon. We're going to go ahead and go over to this one. And then we're going to go over to this one. This is what happens when you don't have a producer and a director and all this other stuff, and you're doing it yourself. Share this tab instead. Pay attention.
Check out this article. Could 2024 election cause society to collapse? Some preppers think so, and they're ready. The article goes on to say that things like the 2024 election is causing political fears and is having people prepare for the unknown. States that a natural storm is coming, whether that's an electromagnetic pulse takes out the electrical grid, a nuclear war, a civil war. They state that some kind of storm is going to happen. A recent poll found that 67% of Americans think the country is facing either bigger problems than usual or is in the most troubled state that they've ever seen. They even had disaster experts comment and say that being prepared is one of the most reasonable and responsible things that Americans can do right now. Rather than assuming that organizations like the Red Cross, your church, or your neighbor will always be available in times of need, it's important to recognize that that support is not always guaranteed. We can give you peace of mind when it comes to your prescription medications. We've worked so hard to provide the easiest solution for you to get a backup of your medications in case of an emergency. So comment medicine below if you'd like to learn more information on how you can get an emergency supply of your prescription medications delivered directly to your door.
There we go. It's going to stop sharing, and there we go. So what this comes down to, guys, is, and the reason I brought that up is because there's actually a few articles out there right now that are starting the talk about pharmaceuticals running short. And I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say this, guys. If you don't have, good morning, gives me, good morning, Tefel. If you don't have a small stockpile for you and your loved ones of the different pharmaceuticals that you either need or want, that, I hate to say this, but you are in the wrong. And I know not everybody can afford it, because if everybody can afford it, they'd all have it. But the truth is that there is a shortage of medicine here in the United States. And most of it stems from that thing that we cannot talk about. Production lines were damaged or destroyed. Our infrastructure has been damaged, has been destroyed, either intentionally or unintentionally. It's been 2 years. It should have been rebuilt. It has not. Forgot to put my helmet on. Window Liquor here. Hope you're having a great day. You got to put your helmet on before you come, bro. You got to be conk ready to go. There is a shortage now. My focus right now is not about the antibiotics. My focus now is your particular needs. And I will recommend that you go to Jace Medical and check out they have new pharmaceuticals that you can get that you use all the time, and that you can get like a 3-month supply. I think I have a code. I honestly don't remember. Yes, I'm an affiliate. I will make 32 cents every time you spend $100, something like that. But look down in the description for, you can either get there by going to localprepper.net, or you can get there by going to my link tree. It should be in there someplace, and there'll be a little note in there telling you if there's a possibility for cost savings. So please take a look at that. Please pay attention to it, because there is a shortage of medications right now. And everything that we're doing, everything that we're seizing is season related. So happy, joy. What is it? Candy canes and licorice and presents for all and red and green and happy. And then it'll be New Year's. And then the end of the year, or sorry, the beginning of the next year, the beginning of 2024, there's going to be no reason to talk about that stuff anymore. And it's going to become very prevalent. And the thing is, it's out there. It's still lurking out there, guys. It's still waiting for you. And we've all been seeing this get worse and worse every day. So we know this to be the truth, but we're kind of ignoring it. So please get off your laurels, get yourself a Jace case, at least get up with the Jace website. Okay, and see what is available. And if there's nothing there for you, at the minimum, get yourself some antibiotics. Okay, because where's that? Gibbsy is get right there. I actually use my Jace case a lot. Once the pharmacy fills prescriptions, I usually it's usually days or weeks late. Boom, nothing more needs to be said. So make sure that you get your trash in one bag. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to a brand new bill. Let's see here. I need to get that. That is text HR. Let's see if I can. This thing has been acting so weird. We're going to go ahead and delete that, and we're going to add a scene. And I have to do this every stinking time because it just kind of does whatever it wants to do. We're going to go ahead and click on that and share. And then we're going to fix this so you can see a little bit more. I think I need to be down there in the corner. All right, guys. So this came out yesterday. Super awesome. Super cool. Actually, no, it says introduced on the 5th, but it now has 18 co-sponsors. All right. And this is how this stupidity starts, that weasels its way into our world. Okay. So this is House Resolution 6596 to end the epidemic of gun violence and build safer communities by strengthening federal firearms laws and supporting gun violence research, intervention, and prevention initiatives. Lots of words, says lots of oodles of generic bullshit. And there it is. It finally came out. Sorry, guys. I thought I could get through the whole thing. Not bad. Not bad. Almost 30 minutes. I went almost 30 minutes. Okay, so here's the actual bill, okay? Here's the actual text of the bill as it exists right now. Let's see here. As of December 7th, text has not been received for HR 6596. So they just put this little footholder in there. They just put this little foothold in there, this little placeholder, so that they can say that this has a House bill under the 118th Congress, okay? And we already read all that crap. It's actually in the title. Bills are generally sent to the Library of Congress from the GPO or Government Publishing Office a day or two after they're introduced on the floor or House of Senate. Delays occur when the large number of bills prepared. What blah, 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 blah. So there's no real text for this, and I'm going to tell you why. But before I do that, these are the co-sponsors of this bill. These are people that they're like, this is a great idea, guys. This is a great idea. Who are they? D. Every single one of these guys, they're all Democrats. They're all Democrats. What do we got here? Massachusetts, Texas. There's somebody from Virginia. I hate him already. But there's 18 of these people who have signed on to this bill as co-sponsors, trying to give it weight, trying to give it levity. So this is literally just like a list of all the nutbags that want to take away your guns, that want to get rid of the Second Amendment, that don't believe that, these are the reason why we have memes where it's like, this is what a 5.56 does, and then the planet explodes, and we all go, hee, it's cool. But it's not, because these are the retards that are feeding into this kind of thing, okay? So it's been sent to the House Judiciary Committee, it's been sent to the House Ways and Means Committee, and it's been sent to the House Energy and Commerce Committee. And here's why: because they won't. This is where they have a foothold, where they think that they can get something done. The bill doesn't have anything to do with judiciary, yes. Ways and Means, maybe. Energy and Commerce. I mean, come on, guys, because they're talking about things that they don't want to talk about. And so those things would be, let's see here. Those things would be, the legislation introduced yesterday currently has no bill text. However, you'd be certain that it is nearly identical to HR 5717. If you don't know what that was, that which included breathtakingly bad measures like a gun ban, a magazine ban, gun licensing, gun registration, gun confiscation, home build ban, suppressor ban, gun rationing, gun tax, age ban, gun-free zone expansions, FFL mandates, and many more to follow. Guys, what this is all about is control. We've talked about this before. This is all they want to do. They just want to take your damn guns, because at some point they think that they can control you because you're not armed. Okay? That's what this comes down to. They think that they can control you because you're not armed. And that's what they're really going for here. There's no other way around it. If you agree, it's like it's I'm going to read you guys an article. I'm going to show you guys an article that is written from a very left-leaning news organization. But they're literally shoot themselves in the foot in their own writing. And they do this because it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's not that they're stumbling through it. It's just that they realize that this is never, ever, ever going to happen. Ever going to happen. Hey, Loretta, good to see you. So check this out. I'm going to go ahead and push this button over here. We're going to see if I can't get it. Did it to me again. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I've got to create this new thing every time where are we at here? Senate Republicans. There we go. Boom. All right. So you guys should be seeing that right there. This is something called the New Republic. And so this is breaking news. This was written day before yesterday. Senate Republicans don't even need a vote now to stop gun control. And here's why. The Senate Republicans just blocked even the smallest step towards gun control. If I can make that bigger for you guys. I'm not sure what that's going to. Let me check the screen, make sure see what that is going to look like. Where are we at here? Let's see if we can make that a little easier for you. I think that'll work a little bit better for you. And I also don't like that. Whatever, because then I block the text. Let's just get right to it here. The Senate Republicans blocked an assault weapons ban along with universal background checks for a class of weapon designed solely for the slaughter of people. They wouldn't even let the legislation come up for a vote. Oh boy, how did they do that? Because there's rules. Okay, there's rules in the Senate, just like there's rules in the House. And the way they came up with the rules for this particular year of Senates of the Senate, because they have to do this every year, is they made these rules that would benefit the Democrats from stopping things. Okay, and it's all blown up in their face because now the people with the red ties are using the rules against them. It's really quite easy. So whenever you guys get one of these things in the email that says emergency gun ban, stop them now, donate, take a second to read it and then delete it and go check out the information for yourself. Because most of the time, these things can all be completely the assumption of this foolishness that you get in these emails is just ridiculous. I just use them for information and then pass on that information to you guys once I've done the research. Congress's blatant dismissal of potential gun reforms flies in the face of what a majority of not just Americans, but even gun owners say they want. That's interesting. More than 8 in 10 gun owners support universal background checks for gun sales, according to an IPOS poll, while 92% of Americans support the same, according to the 2020 Gallup poll. I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to tell you something. This is a senator saying this. This just feels like a test of democracy. It really does. Like, how does democracy survive if 90% of Americans, 90% of Republicans, 90% of Democrats want something and we can't deliver it? End quote. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy asked prior to a request for unanimous consent to pass the background check bill. Okay, 2 big problems here. First of all, there's no legal gun. There's no gun owner. There's no law-abiding gun owner out there who does not want background checks. None whatsoever. Even if if you disagree that there should not be any background checks whatsoever for any firearms, I would completely disagree with you, because we do have to have a level of control to ensure that the stupidity doesn't happen. Because what happens when there's no background checks is that bad guys with lots of bad money come in and buy up these guns, and then they sell them on the black market, or they just start doing nefarious things with them. And then you now have no good guys with guns because there's no guns to buy. That's the simple truth. If you agree with me, type 1. If you disagree, type number 2. The second thing is never trust anybody who starts the sentence with like like I was walking the other day and like I saw the sun and like I wasn't sure if I had sunburn. It was like, oh my God. And like, I mean, there's nothing worse than a U.S. senator who's sounding like a Valley girl. Okay, the bill originally sponsored by the late Senator Dianne Feinstein would have, Jesus, that sounds like that bill I was just telling you about. That bill, what was that? Oh my God, what was that? That was 5717. Gun ban, magazine ban, gun licensing, gun registry, gun confiscation, home build ban, suppressor ban. The list goes on because this isn't a bill that they keep regurgitating whenever something bad happens. And isn't it interesting how we were talking about earlier about the House resolution to this blatant omnibus Morpheus bill that says nothing that we all know really means ban guns on the House side, and mysteriously in the same week, if not the same day, another bill comes up on the Senate side where they're asking for unanimous acceptance. Unanimous acceptance means that they bring the bill to the floor and then they ask for unanimous acceptance. And if one person stands up and says, no, it's got to go through this whole process, you know, the law, the rules, how we are governed, our government works. Yeah. Unanimous acceptance is, or unanimous approval is for things like, hey, today's a flag day. We all know it's a flag day. Let's just not go with the crazy stuff. Let's make it a flag day. Can I get unanimous? Oh, yes, you can. Oh, it's flag day. It's not for a bill that would turn into a law that would literally scratch the Second Amendment out of our Constitution without actually picking up a pen to do it. That's what it's not for. And that's what these people are crying about. But Republicans ignored even those modest attempts at gun control, blocking the request for unanimous consent to pass the bill. Isn't that funny? Quote, Americans have a constitutional right to own a firearm. Every day, people across Wyoming responsibly use their Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms. Senator John Barrasso argued, Democrats are demanding that the American people give up their liberty. Yeah. And that's the truth. That's all that's about. That's absolutely 100% all that it is about. Okay, guys. Looks like we got some people here in the chat, and we've got some concurrence. People are participating, which I truly appreciate. Do me a favor, guys. What am I doing here? I think that is actually all I have for you right now. If you'd like to talk about anything else that is related to this or prepper related, please put it in the chat. Do that now. I shall sip coffee. Freemasons are a cult. That one's hard. They're everywhere. That one's hard. Let's see here. I think he was laughed at for his. Okay, the chat in the Rumble just went wacko, and it's like showing me old chat. Let's see here. Something just happened. Grumpy says, local prepper is a radical, expecting people to use critical thinking skills. Yes, I know, right? I expect you to participate. I expect you, and here's the thing about being an American citizen. Participation is mandatory. Have you ever noticed the people that are like, America sucks? Really? What have you done to improve it? Can somebody get me a Red Bull so I can keep playing my Xbox? And I know I'm being stereotypical, but it's the absolute truth. It's the absolute truth. These are the same people that will sit by and do nothing. At the minimum, I'm just trying to be a good citizen and voicing my opinion without sounding like a giant complaint fest, But last time I checked, hey, listen, if you've got followers, you're a leader. And now I have responsibilities. So, my day-to-day, I interact with my local government because I have the more control there than I do at the higher level. That is for sure. Hey, an armed populace is a polite populace. It's that easy. All right, let's see here. All-American Prepper showed up. Good to see you, bro. Let's see here. Laura said, if they think I'm going to give up anything, they got another thing coming. All right, good for you, Loretta. Let's see here. Do we get a trophy for participating? No, but you may slap yourself in the face 3 times as my appreciation for assuming that you would get a trophy for doing nothing. Let's see here. I think, well, no one has actually put anything up in the chat. We are just conversing at this point, which is fine, But I would tell you guys to be very prepared for some of the things that will come out later today that will not be talked about, that the news won't pick up until the weekend, and that you probably won't hear about until Monday. You know, I know they dropped the indictment. They indicted Junior with several charges. I want to say it's 6 to 7 charges last night, 2 of which are felonies. And now the lawyer, Junior's lawyer, is arguing that, hey, listen, we just had a deal a month back that said, hey, couple misdemeanors and some probation, and we're good to go, guys. And now we've got all these charges again. Oh, come on. That's not fair. That is exactly what's happening. And it's unfortunate that he may not be able to be called up by Congress, even though he's been subpoenaed. But it's I gotta watch my words. I'm on a lot of different platforms right now simultaneously where people they can get butthurt pretty easily. But the truth is he's going to jail. And I told you guys yesterday during the live stream from my truck yesterday that people that go into politics shouldn't have any family that people can get to. Because if you haven't figured this out, we're on the side of redemption right now, where we're like, okay, so we know who the big guy is, and we've kind of proved it. And we have proved that the big guy has been receiving in his own name, in his own bank account, monthly stipends from accounts that are receiving money from other places on the planet that are not the United States, and for no apparent reason. And they've proven this. It's proof. It's fact now. It's not fictitious. It's not speculation. So knowing all these things, what will happen? Well, I mean, you've got the smoking gun. But you know what? Old Joe's going to deny it to his grave. He's been a liar for most of his life. He's going to continue to lie. He loves to make stuff up and plagiarize other people's things and says and words. And that's what he's going to do. And then he's going to walk off like he did yesterday. Okay. Whenever he's confronted with a simple question that if he is honest as he says he is, that he would very easily be able to answer or give a coherent statement to. Okay. Is Rumble chat working? Deep. I see Deb Sheepdog. I do see your chat. But that's not what he's doing. So now what is happening in order to get to him is they have to go after his kids. And unfortunately, I honestly believe that this is going to come down to is they're going to try and negotiate and say, listen, if you leave my son alone, I'll step down. And the people in the red ties should be very smart and say, no, I think we're going to continue with this. I think we're going to keep going after both of you guys because we know that both of you are dirty. And we know that there are other things that have happened that we can't prove. But these things we can prove. These things we have, we have evidence. We have compelling evidence. We clearly have two different tiers of law here in the United States. It's obviously unwritten, but we do have two different tiers of law. And it looks like old Junior is getting ready to he's getting ready to be in a lot of trouble. I think somebody put in the general, where are we at here? West Virginia Pappy put in the Rumble chat, news said 9 tax charges. Yeah. It's interesting. But 2 of those are actually felonies. So he could be looking at some years in prison. Now, damn well his lawyer is going to be like, let's make a deal. But if that deal does not include naming names and paying millions of dollars in fine because apparently he didn't file his taxes, or he filed and then didn't pay his taxes from like 2017 to 2020, and it's not like they've listen, guys, the guys with the red ties on the investigative committees have identified every penny that he has spent in that time period. He was more than capable of paying his taxes. He is an adult. He's on the board of whatever. And he's going to try and play stupid like, I didn't know I had to pay taxes. In the end, it's all a big poop sandwich, and we're all going to take a bite out of it. And hopefully that all we can do is hope that the justice system will work the way it's supposed to instead of the way they want it to. So let's go over the chat real quick here, and then we're probably going to go ahead and call this. It is Friday. I do have stuff to do. Let's see here. He won't see anywhere near 17 years in jail. There's no telling, Gibbsby. That's what I'm saying. This particular situation, there's two IRS whistleblowers that were handling this case, which means that they provide prima facie evidence because they actually are the investigators who are the whistleblowers who brought this to Congress, that made the other deal go away, okay, that stopped him from walking away from this, okay? And it's like, what are the words I'm looking at? I got to be careful here on YouTube. Basically, if you have investigators that are practically witnesses to the crime, that technically they are, because they're analysts. They've analyzed all the data. They're investigators. They're like these superheroes of the IRS, and they did all this, and they got shut down. And now people know, and there's no way to walk away from it now. It's because it's all out. It's all out in the open. I'm sure that there were some IRS agents and at the senior ranks that were basically told, guys, you really screwed up here. These guys came out, and now your head's going to roll if something doesn't happen. So there's a lot of flexing that's going on right now. So let me go to the chat right now. Let's see here. During Hurricane Katrina, they took law-abiding citizens' firearms by force. They didn't take them by force. What they did is they took them, I guess technically you're right. They didn't give me your guns. They were like, well, you can give them to us or we could take them. And the guy, and you don't want to get a shootout with a cop. You just want this to go away and say, okay. But yes, those things did happen, and most of those firearms were never returned. Let's see here. Grumpy says there is the thing they don't want to talk about. The gun genie is out of the bottle, and there's no putting it back. Absolutely, Grumpy. And here's the thing: in that article, it goes on to talk about how that 1 in 10, no, it was either 1 in 10 or 1 in 8 Americans owned an AR. Do the math. That's a lot of damn bullet launchers, guys. That's a lot of freedom seeds that are sitting out there. I can see why they'd be scared. I can see why they're trying to get rid of these things, because everybody's got them now. And once everybody's got them and no one's getting killed by them, it kind of instantly nullifies any position or law that would instantly make somebody a felon. You know what I'm saying? They tried this before. What'd they do with the butt stocks? And that all eventually got squashed. It took forever. Everybody got scared. Everybody got upset. They all got opinionated. I'm going to bury mine. I'm going to take mine off. I'm a felon, And what happened? Eventually common sense took over, because they was so prevalent. There were so many of them that there's nothing that they could do about that. And the same thing will happen with the ARs. Let's see here. I'm still waiting on Biden actually facing time. Yeah, you just keep waiting for that. He's a scumbag criminal. Let's see. So they say the illegal immigrants can become legal if they join our military. Why is it always we train our enemies? I wouldn't say always. Listen, so that program actually was huge in the 70s and 80s, and they stopped doing it for a while. But basically, there were lots of guys joining the Marines and the Navy. And they basically had to give them 20 years of their life. And when they retired, at 10 years, they became U.S. citizens. And when they retired, I can't remember exactly, but they basically had to give them 20 years of their life. So pretending that we're training our enemies, that doesn't really work in the modern world. It just doesn't work. Gibbsy says he won't say, okay, we did that. Deborah says the 2 felonies were dropped down to misdemeanors. If he sees time, it will be in a Martha Stewart type prison. No, actually, the 2 felonies were readdressed. It was on the news this morning. Tefel says, I feel like the ban threat is almost a distraction effort at this point. I don't know that it's a distraction effort, and I can see why you would feel that way. Excuse me. What I would tell you is that when it comes to banning firearms for the left, this is about just taking a bite at it. Just taking a bite at it, little by little by little. They're not trying to make these little laws anymore because it doesn't get past us. So they figure they'll just do this big law, and then they hope that one day we'll forget about all this stuff. One day we'll be like, okay, fine, you can have our guns. We're really tired of you running your sock. And because that's the way they do the things. Have you ever noticed that these people that want to do these kind of stupid things are the same people that you meet on the street? They're the same blue tie wearing nutbags that just want to argue with you for argument's sake so that they can feel better that they got their way. And they're always the loudest people in the room. Have you ever noticed that? And I have friends that are Democrats, but they're like just these honest people that have certain values that are still very American in nature, but they just don't go woo and spin out into control and let's destroy the Constitution. You know, those people are nutbags. Those people are very anarchist because as soon as somebody shows up on their doorstep and the cops didn't get there in 7 to 15 minutes, they're going to be complaining about how the law doesn't benefit them at all, or how the Constitution didn't do what it was supposed to do. You know, buy a firearm, become proficient, protect yourself. Those are your constitutional rights. I mean, it really is that simple. Let's see here. Question. Grumpy asked a question. Didn't those people in the 70s have be legal immigrants? Yes, they came. So they would come in through a legal immigration process. And the idea was we had, I remember this specifically because in the Philippines was huge. They came in through a legal process. They had actually processing stations inside of the Philippines. And they would go there. They would go through the immigration process while they were still in the Philippines. They would have to go to English classes. They would have to go to classes about the Constitution and U.S. law and things like that. And when they got to a certain level, they were certified, and then they could actually, in order to speed the immigration process, they could sign up for the military. And when they did that, they fell under a different set of rules. Let's see here, but yes, they had to be legal. This whole illegal, I don't know where they're coming from with this crap. I really don't. I think it's ridiculous. I think that somebody said, hey, we're sucking at recruiting right now. Maybe we should, start recruiting the illegal aliens and saying that it was a path to citizenship and just kind of like, and here's the thing, they would more than likely have to go through a process similar to what I just explained. But the whole illegal thing, it really pisses people off, and it would not go well within the service in general. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through boot camp. You're going to become friends with this guy, and you're going to find out that he did everything the wrong way, and it's going to cause problems within the ranks. That good order and discipline thing. It's going to be a serious problem. It took my family 3 years to get approved to come to America from China the legal way. Exactly. And it really should. I think that I don't really have a problem with immigrants coming to the United States. I have a problem with people coming to the United States illegally who don't have a valid reason to do it other than it sucks where I live, so I'm going to go to the land of milk and honey and live off the teat of all the other people. That's all they're doing. That's what pisses people off. If they were coming here and just like go find a job, if they had a way to work legally, and go find a job and then do what you're going to do, that become an honest citizen. okay, then no one would care until like they started losing jobs. But there's always somebody out there who's got an angle. There's always somebody out there, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Let's see here. The legal way. So it is expensive. I think it's ridiculous that they have to pay that money to become a citizen. Absolutely, 100%. That tells me that the money that is being allocated to within the immigration service is not being used properly, and because they have to create these. It's basically a tax to offset what's happening. You know, guns coast to coast. Man, you just now showing up. Let's see. Daddy can pardon federal crime. You're right. Daddy can. But you know what, West Virginia, Pappy? The second he does that, they're done. Democrats are done. They're absolutely done. You know what I'm saying? So that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Okay. I think that's going to be about it, guys. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for just about an hour. And enjoying your Friday is going to be important. So make sure you do that. And remember, I'm always late. Hopefully that's not what your girlfriend said. Let's see here. Princess Kickbutt says, I earned an American citizenship at age 17. I joined the Navy, and there were still some fields I could not get in, like the nuke. Yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely no way that it ever lets you in the nuke program. Let's see here. It's not personal. It's just the smart thing to do. Let's see here. Bradley says, I have more in common with someone who has come here legally and made that pledge to our flag than I do with most of these far left liberals. That's true. I believe that. That's true. Okay, guys, like I said, we're going to go and shut this off. I shall see you guys on Monday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help the channel. If you haven't done that yet, please do it now. Also, if you want to support the channel, there is a myriad of links down below. We are looking for some new Patreons, so that is open now. If you want to check that out, it's $3 a month. I think it's $30 a year if you pay for an entire year. Well worth the money. Anybody in the community will tell you exactly that. Don't take my word for it. Ask around. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it. Remember that it's still Bad News Friday. Okay, still Bad News Friday. So keep your ears to the freaking ground, man. You pay attention. Pay attention. And as usual, stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. We'll talk to you later.